fall.
Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, we are literally counting down the days until the Forsaken DLC drops. In the meantime, this is still the version of the Crucible that we have to work with, and I've still been out there cranking out the content, doing the stram thing, and this week I focused a lot on playing Nightstalker. Now, I have not played a lot of Nightstalker in D2. I did early when the game launched, and then never really looked back. Honestly, Tether is a laughable super, and I'm very glad to hear that it's getting addressed. And honestly, the super itself, if in any scenario, if you said, all right, Ryan, you could either have your Tether super, or you could have a full mag of ammo for your tractor cannon, which would you have? I would say, give me ammo for a tractor cannon. It's much more reliable, consistent, and powerful than a Tether is. So I just think it's a terrible super. But the neutral game can have some really nice perks to it. The Tether you just can't get overzealous with. But I had a lot of fun playing with my Nightstalker, and I wanted to drop a little bit of advice and break down a couple of these moments. I had some pretty wicked kill streaks. In fact, some of the best ones I didn't even put in the video because I'm gonna use them for a another kill streak breakdown that I'm gonna do, just because there were some really good moments. So here's an interesting one. I really want to finish this guy off, but look at my health. I've got no health. And I know this guy's super tagged up, but I see these skip grenades, and I saw some other people in that lane. So instead, I know I need to regenerate my health. I get pushed in this corner, so I use the smoke grenades to disorient, jump over this guy's head, and he walks into the smoke as well. And then I just use the Rampage perk on the Drang to go ahead and spray down two guys and get a nice two-piece. Back off. I know that at this point, I've got my Sturm overcharged, and they know where I'm at. So I tag this guy once to the head. He's trying to push me with a shotgun, but we shut him down. Just some nice maneuvers, some good kind of bob and weaves, use of cover. Here's another good use of cover. See, I have no health here. I got a kill. I know there's a second guy here. My Sturm is overcharged, so I'm invis. I proc my invis, jump up over his head, and then just hip fire it straight down from the top down, and then followed up with a melee. This was a really fun kill streak and a nice we ran out of medals here. I really like Retribution. I think it's a fun map. I think that it's just general design. Sometimes it can be tough because of how much people group up in these hallways, and the team fire can be insane, but the flanking routes are just really basic, really simple. Proc your invis, come around on the sides, and get a different angle. And Sturm and Drang just works out pretty phenomenally here on this map. I think it's a really great combo in general, but especially on a map of this size with the sight lines that it has. There's really no engagement you can get into where Sturm is going to have significant damage drop off because of range. Most of the time you're going to be doing over 70 damage to the head, and I just adore Sturm. I think it's such a fantastic hand cannon, and the peak shots you can do with it, the sight picture that's just nice and open on this baby. Oh man, I love getting these crispy 3 taps to the dome. And I love it even more when you've got the gun overcharged and you can just do some nasty 2-tapping. And there's the crispy little wee ran, and then some more. So with the Nightstalker, I found that, especially with the neutral game, it's really just all about managing your cooldowns. Because cooldowns win fights. The abilities that you've got available to you, these things are the difference makers in this game. They absolutely are. They give you a leg up on your competition. Sometimes it can change... It can change how many bullets it takes to win an engagement from 3 to 2. So leading with that smoke and then just 2-tapping with Sturm, man, it's the difference maker, especially when you're going up against things like Graviton Lances and Entipedes. You need every single bullet. I mean, every single bullet matters. And if you can just reduce the amount of bullets you need to kill somebody by 1, that's a huge difference. So with the Nightstalker in particular, I tried both trees. The quiver tree is just kind of honestly, it's a bit of a joke. It's a bit of a joke. And I tried some interesting stealth builds with that tree, but the problem is, for me at least, the problem for me is I really want to be able to activate my invisibility like in an instant, like bam, I'm invis, and the dodge is nice for that. On the other tree, when you have to throw a smoke grenade at your feet, it doesn't even activate instantaneously. You have to wait for the grenade to detonate. So sometimes it's just like, hey, I need the invis now, and I need to get out of here. And the dodge is just so much nicer for that. It's just got a lot more utility because obviously it's a dodge, and it instantly procs that invisibility. And I'm using the Graviton forfeit helmet so that I can cool down my smoke grenades faster because, man, those are just so useful. It makes 1v1s so laughably easy when you have a smoke grenade cooled down. And 1v2s are a lot more manageable because you're taking away a lot of meaningful information for your opponents. This was one of my favorite kill streaks that I had the other day here on Altar of Flame. I really enjoyed this kill streak. There was just so many times where I was really, really hurt, and I played my cover, I played my sight lines well. And what I'm doing with the invisibility on the Nightstalker is it's less about making an approach, and sometimes I do proc the invisibility and then make an approach on somebody, but generally you're going to get sprayed down. I'm using it more to relocate. So I'm hurt, maybe I win a firefight, but there's a second person there, so I go ahead and do the dodge roll, and then I relocate myself, and then I re-engage. And that's where I found the most utility out of my dodge. And again, it's all about knowing what's cooled down. So I get into this rhythm, right? I get into this rhythm of where my eyes are looking on the actual screen on my HUD. And so my eyes are going top left, bottom left, center. Top left, bottom left, center. Top left, bottom left, center. Because what I'm doing there is I'm going radar cooldowns. What am I looking at? Radar cooldowns. What am I shooting at? Radar cooldowns. So I always know. I'm always taking in meaningful information. A lot of times when you get killed, it's because you didn't look at the radar in time and you let someone move up on you, or you forgot that you had a certain ability cooled down and available to you, and you didn't use it, and you died because of it. So I think in order to prolong your kill streaks, man, you really just have to get into that rhythm of going top left, bottom left. Ah, there's a spider on my leg. That was terrifying. Where did he go? Okay. I've got like the carpet down here in my office is like thick, and there's a spider down here somewhere, and I can't see him. He was just on my leg. I'm terrified. Anyways, so moving on. Now, where was I? Man, that spider got me shook. Yeah, there's a decent use of a tether there. Obviously, tether is a little bit weak. A lot of times you die before you can even get your tether off, actually, which is no bueno. Sometimes you just die in the animation, and you just kind of have to hope that your teammates are there to capitalize on your use of the tether. So anyways, so talking about the Nightstalker a little bit more, the game currently it's very lane based in terms of the gunfights you're getting into. It's very lane based. So what I found, and this kind of branches off of my discussion about using the invisibility as a relocating tool, I have found that I like to approach a lane, take a couple of shots just to pepper people, get a little bit of damage in with the Sturm. A lot of times what that does is it forces people to sort of, peek back into cover, reload their gun, and then peek back out with their Graviton or whatever they're laning with. And it's in that time, after you've peppered them up a little bit, that's when I'm activating my invisibility and relocating. So it's taking me off the radar. It takes me, makes me a little bit harder to see, so I can just kind of dart away into a side flanking maneuver, and then make a nice approach. So in a lane-based shooter like Destiny 2 is right now, that can often be the difference maker. Here again, the tether. It's not so much of me aping into a space. It's firing the tether into a space that is about to be occupied. And it's all about the timing. If you fire it too early, they see it, they don't go in. But if you see somebody like dead sprinting and you see a couple of people making a move for a position, that's when you throw the tether in front of them. So it's harder for them to sort of change their momentum and, and decide to go a different direction. So tether, man, it's just bad. There are moments where it's good. There are moments where you can do some really cool things with it, but the other supers, their utility just dwarfs tether by far. I think tether really shines in PvE when you're playing against AI and mobs. That's where the tether is honestly just so fantastic. PvP is just a different story. You gotta learn to rely on your neutral game And the tether is often just a way of saying, no, I will not let you push in here with your Arc Strider super. Sometimes I just put it on the floor in a position of power when I hear someone activate a super. It's just a way of saying, you may not even come into my tether, it may not touch you, I may not get a kill from it. By the way, check this out, pause. 1v2, I have no health. I finish the first guy off, and then I turn and I throw this smoke grenade on these boxes and jump. I change my momentum and jump in the opposite direction. Look where he's looking, right at that smoke grenade. His radar is telling him there's a guy right here. I changed my momentum. I threw the smoke where he expected me to be, and it totally took his attention. And I'm able to, string a kill together with the Rampage perk on Drang. Just a nasty little maneuver to win that 1v2, which was a relatively unwinnable situation. And just knowing my cooldowns and knowing what was available to me was the difference maker. And managed to come out on top. Things are getting a little bit spicy on this match. Man, I was on a bit of a tear with the Sturm and Drang. I can't get over how good this combo is right now. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried. I think, and I could be wrong, because I don't know any specific changes that might be coming to Sturm and Drang, but I think that Sturm and Drang is going to be relatively irrelevant in Season 4, unless there's some exotic tuning. But Sturm is going to lose all of its sort of utility as a heavy hitting, overcharge, get the 2-tap kind of a gun. With the time to kill on primaries being dramatically reduced, then the edge that it's going to have is going to be so dramatically smaller, if that makes sense. Because the difference, between right now, when you get the overcharge and the 2-tap, the difference between how much damage you can do to them and how much damage they can do to you in a primary in those gunfights is pretty substantial. That's why it's so powerful when you get that overcharge. But currently in its 3-tap, sort of a department that it's sitting at without the overcharge, if everything else is getting more powerful, then you're often probably going to die before you get the 3rd shot off. And then when you have it overcharged, it's still not a massive advantage considering how quickly the other weapons are going to be able to kill you. So I'm worried that it might lose all of its utility. So I'm trying to use it a lot right now just to get as much enjoyment out of it as I can in the meantime. But we'll be on to a completely different PvP experience here pretty soon. I'm excited for it. I really am, honestly. So another thing that I would tell you just before the video closes out is a lot of times in this gameplay you're watching here, I'm solo queue, but I'm coordinating with my blueberries. I'm coordinating with them by looking at what lanes they're trying to control, and I'm making flanking maneuvers so that I can pinch people while they're putting shots down range. So they're peppering people, and a lot of times I'm cleaning up the kills with just 2 shots from Sturm because they're already peppered up by my blueberries. And the strafe shot is real, especially with Sturm, things that hit hard. I like to use weapons that hit hard, but they don't shoot quite as fast. So I kind of peek out, take the shot, get into cover, peek out, take the shot, get into cover. And that's where I find I yield the best results. Well, thanks for watching the video. I'm going to break down some long kill streaks here, probably either today or tomorrow with Nightstalker, some we ran out of medals that played out really, really well. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you. And I hope to catch you in the Crucible.